Appreciate. Welcome to my video tip of the week. This week we're going to discuss 10 steps to success for passing the CPLP knowledge-based exam. So let's go ahead and get started. There's a variety of study materials, and of course with 50 pages worth of exam objectives, that's a lot of subject matter to cover. There's a lot of research that shows that candidates that are studying for any certification, really anybody who's prepping for any type of test, that a variety of study materials really can help them in their preparation efforts. So you want to use things, you've got video tips of the week like we have here at cplpcoach.com. The ASTD education arm has a number of study materials that are available. Check in with your ASTD local chapter. They have study groups, they have workshops that are going on. You can take a look and actually get a bunch of books from your local library. There are a lot of ASTD recommended resources. And of course there are a lot of CPLP candidates who like to use Yahoo or Google in order to find some references online. So all of those ways are good ways of being able to feed into your study plan and be able to really support your preparation. Regardless of the study materials that you use in order to prepare, this really means that you have to make a commitment to yourself. This is a big deal. This certification process is a commitment of money, it's a commitment of time. What we recommend for CPLP candidates is for them to start preparing for the knowledge-based exam at least 10 to 12 weeks before they sit the exam. So that means studying, going through all that subject matter, those 50 pages worth of exam objectives, and actually reviewing that material over a 10 to 12 week period, spending 1 to 2 hours per week getting ready to sit the exam. And again, you really want to use that CPLP Candidate Bulletin as a guide. Not only will it help guide and focus your study efforts for the knowledge-based exam, but becoming very familiar with that document is also going to set you up for success with the work product submission. There's just a ton of information in there that's really very useful. For instance, one of the things that's available in the CPLP Candidate Bulletin is a little sample exam in Appendix B. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So again, many candidates ask, what are the questions on the exam like? Well, actually, if you go to the CPLP Candidate Bulletin, and if you pull up Appendix B, the CPLP sample test, you'll see that there are actually 10 questions that are written very much in the style of the CPLP exam. As a matter of fact, these are 10 questions that were retired from the original CPLP pilot database. So these are questions that were originally submitted to be used in the actual exam and then were retired in order to be able to be listed in this particular document. So if you really want to get a sense for what the questions are like, this is one of the resources that you can use in order to do that. Another thing to keep in mind with this, please notice, this isn't just a regurgitation of information. It's not enough to know definitions and terms. You really need to know how to apply this information. And again, that's across 9 areas of expertise, regardless of what it is that you do in your day job. So if you do stand-up training all the time, you're going to need to know something about instructional design and coaching and improving human performance and talent management. You're really going to want to know how what you do fits in the big picture. And the same goes for those other practice areas. If you do coaching for a living, you're going to want to know something about facilitation and something about instructional design and so on and so forth. So what that means for a lot of people is actually being able to get together with colleagues and peers and other folks that do other things in the learning and performance spectrum and getting to know them not only as people, but to bounce ideas off of them to help you prepare in your studying efforts for the knowledge-based exam. Now, if you don't know anybody else who's studying for the CPLP, or if you really don't know anybody else who is in other parts of the learning and performance industry, then the thing that I suggest is to go ahead and reach out to your local ASTD chapter. And you can find the local ASTD chapter by going out to the ASTD website, and you'll see that there's actually a map of the United States that's listed here. And what you can do is go ahead and just click on the state that you're in, and it'll give you a listing of all of the local ASTD chapters that can be found within that particular state. So you'll see that here in the state of Illinois, we actually have quite a bit of chapters. And I'll tell you, chances are pretty good that there is a chapter that's near you. As a matter of fact, ASTD has about 136 chapters across the U.S., and then they also have something along the lines of about 18 to 20 global networks. So if you're outside of the United States, you can take a look and see if there's a global network for you either in Canada or in other parts of the world. And so if you can, go visit your local test center. ASTD uses a vendor by the name of Drake Criterion. Drake Criterion here in the United States has a lot of their test centers in places like community colleges and also in places like CompUSA and other technology stores. So you can actually go out to the ASTD website and pull up a PDF file of the different Drake Criterion test centers to be able to locate one that's near you. So here I am on the ASTD Certification Institute website, and so I can see here CPLP test locations on the left-hand side, and right here in the middle, click here for a complete list of test centers, and what that does is it opens a PDF file. Something to keep in mind. Right now, the exam, the CPLP knowledge-based exam, is only offered in test centers in the United States and in Canada. Now, does that mean that the credential is only available to people in North America? No. As a matter of fact, there are a lot of CPLP candidates that have flown in from other countries, either to Canada or to the United States, in order to sit the exam. And upon successful completion of the exam, they've been able to go home and finish their work product, which is phase 2 of the credentialing process, from their home countries. This is another big one. A lot of people stay up the night before a test and wind up trying to cram and do some last-minute studying. And a lot of the research shows that that's just a bad way to go. You want to make sure that you get a good night's rest the night before your exam. You want to get at least 8 hours of sleep, and you want to make sure that you're just well rested for the day ahead of you. Keep in mind that this exam, you've got 150 multiple choice questions that you will have to answer within 150 minutes. And that means if you take all 150 minutes, 2.5 hours to complete the exam, you will be sitting in an uncomfortable chair, in an uncomfortable room, in an uncomfortable test environment for 2.5 hours. So your body is going to take a beating. Your brain is going to take a beating. And emotionally, you're going to take a little bit of a beating because your anxiety, for most people, tends to be pretty high on exam day. So you want to treat yourself right, get a good night's sleep the night before your exam. And again, do whatever it is that you need to do on the day of the exam in order to minimize your stress level and to minimize your anxiety level. You want to make sure that you eat a little something. Don't go to the exam center hungry. You want to make sure, again, that you're well rested. You want to make sure that you don't bring large items with you to the test center. The reason being is because they don't have any storage space in order to store those items, and you're not allowed to bring those things in with you into the actual exam room. So ladies, keep your purses at home. Men and ladies, keep your briefcases at home as well, including your laptop cases and all of that stuff, because not only will you not be able to bring those types of items into the exam room with you, you also will have to empty your pockets. So just something to keep in mind. About the only thing you're going to walk into that exam room with is going to be your ID, your identification, and a pencil and a scratch paper that the exam auditor, the exam proctor, has given you. So that's it for this week's video tip of the week. I'm Trish Ewell, your CPLP coach. If you would like more information, especially more of these video tips, or want to know more about the CPLP itself, then please come visit us at www.cplpcoach.com. Thanks again. We'll see you next week.